Well, fuck it. About a month ago, About a month ago, I asked you in the community tab what type of content you would like to see if I decided to start a new series on this channel, like the ones I currently have going on with the conflicts in Ukraine and West Africa. And by far, the most popular answer was Major World News Weekly. I've considered ending the West Africa videos as over 2 months has passed since the crisis began without ECOWAS launching their invasion of Niger, while French and American forces have agreed to leave the country. It just doesn't look like it's going to happen anymore, and quite frankly, I'm struggling with finding news for each day even down there. So while I'm preparing for the possible end of that particular series, I've also been working on this world map that might serve as the world news series. The only thing is that, and this is sort of a map nerd secret that I'm gonna let you in on here, pretty much every single world map you see is false. Did you know that? They don't even show who's controlling what territory in real life. They only show what the international community thinks the borders should be right now. I'll repeat. World maps show what the international community thinks the borders should be, not what they actually are. Which I, as a true map nerd, have always thought is very misleading. Take Ukraine, for example. You'll see this map everywhere you go, even though it hasn't been true in real life for over a decade soon. Now, I don't even care what side in this conflict you're on, because it doesn't matter. It is objectively true that Moscow has annexed large parts of Ukraine into Russia. Pro-Russians will say that the borders look like this, and pro-Ukrainians will say they look like this. And they'll both be wrong, because the current borders actually look like this. This is what we call the difference between de jure and de facto. De jure means by law. What the people who rule have agreed what the borders should look like by law. De facto means in fact, what the actual borders in fact are. The problem with de jure, as in Ukraine for example, is that the correct borders depend on who you ask, Russia or Ukraine, while the de facto borders are much less open for interpretation or dependent on subjective political opinions. And if I'm going to start a series with a world map in focus, I want to stick to the facts, not the law. But Vologda, I hear you ask, if the de facto maps are true in real life, why do we only ever see the jure maps? Good question. The answer is because de facto maps are changing all the time and is really difficult to get right, especially in detail. Not in Ukraine perhaps, but in most other cases. See my West Africa series, for example. The ancient city of Timbuktu became a de facto Malian exclave a few weeks ago, when jihadists who are not part of the Malian government took control of the countryside surrounding it. The jihadists in question are de facto acting as an independent country, by the way. It's called the Support Group for Islam and Muslims in English. They gained independence in 2017 and their capital is Tinsawaten. But you'll never see a world map showing their country, because they're not considered a country by the international community. Until now, because I'm gonna make that world map. But I'll need your help, because it's complicated, and I'm sure lots of you know what's going on the ground in your own regions where you live or have a particular interest in, way better than I do in most cases. That's sort of the reason why I made this particular video. The explanation of de jure and de facto you just listened to is just so that we're all on the same page on what the goal is here. To create a world map that shows the borders as they really are, not as some top politicians think they should be. So I've already picked a good map and colored in the internationally recognized countries. Now comes the part where I'll need your help in the comments. For now, we'll just start with North America, alright? Because I'm gonna work on this map in parts. The plan is to make a second update on this project, where I show the changes I've made to North America before I tell you my thoughts on South America, which you will then help me with in the comments on that video. And on it goes like that until the entire world map is finished and completed and looks great. So, North America. I don't think I'm gonna add the Navajo Nation or any other Native American reservation in the United States, because from what I understand, they're still de facto controlled by the United States, even though they have lots of special authorities, mostly judicial, that regular states don't always have. However, when it comes to the Mexican cartels, I'm not so sure. I think the Sinaloa and Jalisco cartels, at least in some areas, are exercising more control on the ground than the actual Mexican government. And so they should be shown on the map, right? The political conflict in Jamaica will probably not be de facto visible on the map, although there seems to be some sort of insurgency in the Haitian capital Port-au-Prince that possibly should be shown. I don't know of any uncontacted tribes that are acting de facto independent in North America, but I'm sure there will be lots of them for the next part on South America. For now, let's just start with North America and see how this goes. Did I miss anything, or should the Mexican cartels perhaps not be shown? Is there any color you think I should change on any country here? This is far from my area of expertise, so I'll be very interested in hearing your thoughts on the matter. If you happen to have any maps or sources showing the de facto control map, feel free to add the link in the comments or send it to my business mail, which you can find in the About tab of this channel. I also don't want you to expect the next part anytime soon. I'll work on it when I have the time, but I don't know how much time I'll have, and I don't dare set a date for when the next part will come out. Until then, work continues on Ukraine, and we'll see about West Africa. Thank you for watching.